show, we bring to you the most informative, educative, and entertaining events like business, sports, lifestyle, entertainment, in-depth discussions, motivational quotes to give you a well-rounded experience and set the tone for your day. Next is our motivational quotes for today, and we will have that displayed very soon, so please stay tuned. Yes, as you know, we always bring you a motivational quote to start your week and give you a very set tone for your day to make it very beautiful and, of course, positive vibes. So today's quote is by the very popular Lao Tzu, and it says, "The journey of 1,000 miles begins with a step. A single step." And I take it again. The journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. This is by Lao Tzu. And this quote tells us that regardless of how big our dreams are, no matter how unattainable they seem, we just need to take that very first step, be it planning, whether passively or actively, whether networking, whether researching, we need to take the step. And I'd like to use this analogy. When you have a very big bowl of fufu and you know you're not likely to be able to finish it at one go, you still strategize as to how well you're going to be able to eat that food. All you need to do is take the very first support, as we like to call it. Just start doing something. Take a step today, no matter how unattainable your dreams look. Don't listen to anybody about how impossible it is, but rather look for strategies that would be able to make you take the steps to be able to achieve your goals. And I hope this quote has motivated you this morning. As you go through your day, please do well to, of course, spread positivity with your friends and loved ones, and of course, keep a very beautiful smile on your face as always. Next is our online news review with my co-host, and we will be right back.
CLOG TV, beyond the policy.
Here with me, two of my co-hosts, one for the lifestyle segment and the sports segment, in the persons of Miss Miriam Abnadidi and Mr. Nanayao Asari. Good morning, lady and gentlemen.
Good morning, Yaira.
Good morning.
How are we doing?
We are up and grateful. So, I mean, it's a good start here. Very, very elated to be here this morning.
So, we are in the 75th week of January, finally. So, what are anticipations? January.
22nd. So we have like, Jesus Christ.
It seems we're all counting the weeks very differently. Anticipations for the end of this week as February approaches. Any goals set for us?
I mean, anticipations, yes, because January, around this time, that's when probably, maybe, I'm sure a lot of people have received their salaries over the weekend, or just before the weekend. So, I mean, it's yes, we are now charging up for Valentine's Day.
I see. So, we should expect you. The viewers are our witnesses.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, what
I don't want King's Bite. Okay, no, I have to be proudly Ghanaian. No. One King's Bite and then one dairy milk.
I mean, the dairy milks, well, King's Bite is better. I mean, if you go anywhere, King's Bite is better.
Typical Ghanaian man.
No, if you prefer, it's healthier and then it's better and it's Ghanaian too. So, anyway.
Okay, so what about you? Any anticipations, Mimi?
Well, I'm just looking forward to having, a great month in February, looking at how stressful January has been for all of us. The never-ending January. I'm just hoping that February will come with a different vibe.
Yeah.
Vera, can I just ask for just a minute or something? She's saying January has been stressful, right?
Yeah.
And now let's see whether we can define stress in this particular way. And we have this particular citation. I'm sure that the screen will be able to pick up. It says that this is to the best media iconic personality of the year. This was done at the SGC GABA Global Arts Business Awards, citation in honor of Miriam Abnadidi. So we have a superstar in our midst. So she was the best media iconic personality of the year at the SGC GABA Global Arts Business Awards. Mimi.
Wow.
Yeah.
I had to go to her office to go and see this.
Wow. That's
so I'm going to
amazing.
leave this here.
Yeah.
So, Madam, iconic personality, please.
And January has been stressful, so you can actually see what's going on. January has been stressful in Punio.
Well,
and then she's getting iconic then.
So it was okay.
I don't know for her.
So let me just give a little insight.
How was it?
It was a fantastic program. It happened over the weekend, where I had to co-host the event for the Global Arts and Business Awards 2025. I met amazing personalities over there, and after the event, I was honored with this citation. Yeah, so that was how I got this, and like, it was an amazing place to be. I mean, meeting personalities like Acrobato. I don't know if our producers can play the video.
I mean, but see, just look at this. It says global.
Yes.
Global. It's not Ghana. It's Global Arts and Business Awards.
Exactly.
We have to come for tips from her. She has to be blessing us, bestowing us.
Definitely celebrated excellence and achievements that night. With people doing so well in the fields of arts and also business, contributing to the cultural and economic landscapes. We needed to celebrate them. So it was a great event over the weekend.
Well, congratulations once again. And I'm sure CLOG TV has realized we already knew our gold here, but now it's out. Yes,
it is all of us.
Diamond.
I mean, it's a win for all of us because it was the same.
It's fine. Wow, congratulations once again. We are really proud of you. We are honored to have you on our set.
And thank you all for your support. And I've been learning. You guys,
yes,
I mean, my working dictionary.
You are telling us. Anyway, let's go quickly into the word on the streets. What has happened over the weekend? What have you picked up? Any interesting stories out there?
Yes. Should I? Sorry.
Hey, let's our please.
Madam, do I start or you want to start?
No, please start.
Ladies first.
Thank you very much for bestowing this honor of me to be able to. Yes. So today, 28th January, the Appointments Committee of Parliament is set to vet 5 ministerial nominees today, which includes the Minister Designate for Defense, that's Edward Kofi Omanebo-Ama, and also Emmanuel Kodja Jekum for the Minister of Special Initiatives, and we have J. Kenneth Gilbert, who is the Minister Designate for Works and Housing and Water Resources, and then we have Linda Obniwa Oklu, the MP, also a Minister Designate for Greater Accra Region. We have Charity Gardner, also Minister Designate for Ahafo Region, which will be concluded at 5 p.m. So it looks as though today is going to be very, very busy for the Appointments Committee at Parliament, and we are going to see what's happening. I'm particularly interested in not Omane Boama's own, but rather Emmanuel Koja Jukum's own, because the Minister of State in charge of special initiatives, we need a little bit of insight over there concerning their mandate and modus operandi and all that. So we are looking forward to that particular one. So that's what is going on the rounds now. I can let me just let Madam speak a little.
Okay, so I also have a story, something that has to do with this Catholic and Freemason, brouhaha that has been happening. So it was during the same vetting where now minority leader Afenyo Markin interviewed Mr. George Opare Ado, and he questioned him on whether he was a Freemason, and he said yes, and he asked if he was a Catholic, and he said yes.
So he was Catholic.
Catholic. So he wanted to find out how one can be a Freemason and at the same time a Catholic. And Afenyo Markin has also also said in an interview that he also belongs to the two sides, but he wanted to know why he belongs to the two sides and if it was possible. And we have received if
Afenyo Markin himself belongs to two, why are you asking somebody?
During the vetting, they assume that a lot of people do not know certain things. So even if they know, they don't want to, be the ones to share it. So, Nana, you wanted to say something?
Yes, just a little bit of insight on that. The Catholic Church, this is not the first time they've come out to sort of disassociate themselves from Freemasonry. And the first instance was when they were sort of maybe threatening to maybe disallow members of the Freemasons being part of the Catholic Church. But there was one high-profile case which has sort of set this particular precedence, which happened with former President John Adjukwu Kufuor. He was met by one of the chief bishops of the Catholic churches in Ghana, and then after that meeting, the Catholic Church came out to say that they are frowning on Freemasonry. They are disassociating themselves from it and all that. So Kufuor was invited for a discourse, and after that, his membership of the Catholic Church wasn't revoked. So that is something that has sort of set a precedence on that, and then we can see that Afenyo Markin is also a Catholic himself, and is also now is also a Freemason. So that's what has sort of set the precedence, so that the church cannot sort of maybe sort of revoke the membership of the members of the church.
But then, we have the right we have a right of association. So whatever groups you want to associate with, as long as there isn't a clash in ideologies or personal interest in things, I think it's still possible, because we will need to look at what the Freemason is about and whether or not it prevents or allows you to be part of any religious group. So
I was even coming to that because in the press, please let me breathe. In the press, in the press statement that was released, they indicated that the Freemason people and then the Catholic do not have the same belief. So with the Catholics, they believe in our Lord Jesus Christ, but the Freemason, they do not believe in that. So that is the first distinction between the Catholics and so it is not possible for one to belong to both, groups, because you cannot believe in Jesus and not believe in him at the same time. It doesn't work like that. So
I think we need to find extra insight on Freemasonry and their beliefs and all that, considering the fact that, because maybe well, because a lot of people, Presbyterians are Freemasons, Methodist people, we have a lot of them.
I think it's just a religious sect. It may not even be fully religious, but just a group of people like-minded, not necessarily in the religious
Because Afenyo Markin indicated that it has like broadened his understanding of life and other things. So he's a very like proud member of that group. So I don't really know why.
It shouldn't even be cause for, but you know, here in Ghana. So let me take a few comments, then we go to our digitalized newspaper. So Stage Africa says, good morning, CLOG TV, watching live inside Spintex. Thank you so much. And TA says, up and grateful, Nanaya sorry. It seems your up and grateful is catching on. Then Agudia Film Production says, good morning. And Akman Multimedia also says, good morning, Coco Digest Morning Show team. A good morning to you all. So, I know we have our newspapers here, but I know some of you also have digitalized newspapers. So which ones are we going with?
Let's start with the traditional.
Yes, traditional is good.
So I have today's daily graphic here with me, and on the front page we have Minister Directs headcounts in MMDAs, and that is a story by Timothy Inembi. And he's saying the Minister of Local Government, Chieftaincy and Religious Affairs, Ahmed Ibrahim, has announced a nationwide headcount of all staff at the Metropolitan, Municipal and District Assemblies. Mr. Ibrahim said the headcount was meant to ensure that all staff in the 261 MMDAs were at post and working for the development of the country. He said it was worrying that although about 40,000 staff were said to have been posted to the MMDAs through the Office of the Head of Local Government Service, most of them were ghost workers. And so that has resulted in the nationwide headcount of
Yes, I'm also interested in the same paper, the Al-Hassan appointed as new GCB Bank MD.
Yeah.
So when
that's
you look
on
at
page
him,
20.
He has really rich experience when it comes to banking. He's been the head of executive banking business for Stanbic Bank, and so this is like another one to add to his portfolio, and I think he's going to deliver. And so no, it's a good one.
And I think it even speaks to the fact that we mentioned that it seems more people are being nominated or appointed based on merit, based on their background. So I think it's a step in the right direction. So Rose Entertainment here says, good morning to your entire team. I'm Charles, watching you live from Dubai. Keep up the good work. Then James Bernard Jdad says, watching you live from Jdad residence in La. You guys are really doing a great job. Thank you so much. And I'd like to say James is our photographer, giving us back-to-back hot shots every time. So all the beautiful pictures you see on our socials, it's James that has been delivering amazing jobs for us. Yes. So Nanaya, take us away with your story as well.
So my what's making rounds on sports rather is Michael Essien has come out to actually mention that we should stop the blame game when it comes to the Black Stars and then the players of who are born in foreign countries, or maybe sort of, what should I call them? I can't call them mixed breeds, but who have like foreign parents of other nationalities and Ghanaian nationalities who are mixed in that particular sense. And so he's come out to actually mention that we should stop the blame game when they come and then they are underperforming, because we see them performing very, very well at their club side, but then when it comes to Ghana, the national team, they fail to perform. Case in point, Inaki Williams, he scored just one goal in 26 appearances for the Black Stars. We have Antoine Semenyo, who is performing very, very well for Bournemouth in England, but he's not replicating the same kind of form when it comes to the Black Stars. We have the likes of Ransford Yeboah next offer, who is also performing very well in Hamburg, but also performing at the same level when it comes to the Black Stars. So these are some of the things that he was actually speaking on radio the other day, and he said that we should just stop the pretense, and we know that the foundations of our football in Ghana are weak. We don't have quality pitches, we don't have and there's a lot of politicking in and around the selection of the players and all that. So when they come and then they are underperforming, don't judge their performance based on don't judge them based on their performance on the Black Stars, because there are other external factors that is contributing to their performance and not just their performance. Yeah.
But I also feel we shouldn't be passing comments like this to the hearing of these players, because the fact that a senior player like Michael Essien has come out to say that we should not blame these people, they will really not commit themselves in, doing the best for the country, as we've always seen. Because sometimes when you watch some of the football matches, you can tell that the commitment is low. Looking at their appearance, how they even run on the pitch and other things.
That could be another factor. But there's, just give me a minute to round this one up. If I'm playing in the UK with quality grass, with quality, the pitch is watered properly, and when I put my stats in, I know that it's comfortable to play the game of football and all that. But then when I come to Ghana, I'm forced to play in circumstances which are not the best. The dressing rooms, sometimes some of them are not the best. Sule Muntari has even come out to come and lambast the Ghanaian FA and said that there's no future for Ghana football if they continue in this particular trend. So the conditions are completely different.
To come and play for the country.
No, so you can see that
they were not forced.
You see, this
and we have
issue of
local players.
The
local players too.
It's very disheartening, and if we want to talk about it, we'll take the whole morning.
I mean, we'll have a sports segment.
Yes, so when it's time, we'll send our questions to you. We'll answer all.
And today, James will be on set.
Oh, hey, I can't wait.
Coming to cook us.
We'll give extra sheets.
Okay, so let's go quickly to the online news and then we wrap up. So the first story here says, announcement of MMDCs to begin January 31 by Anthony Nukpenu. And it says here, President John Dramani Mahama is expected to announce the Metropolitan, Municipal and District Chief Executives for Ghana by the end of business day on Friday, January 31. And this information was shared by Anthony Nukpenu, the Greater Accra Regional Organizer of the National Democratic Congress, that's the NDC. Now, Mr. Nukpenu mentioned that the Greater Accra region is nearing its completion of its vetting process and will soon submit a list of recommended candidates. Now, some regions completed their vetting process last week, Mr. Nukpenu said, and we are finalizing ours today, and by this evening or early tomorrow morning, we should be forwarding our list to the appropriate office, he said. So, MMD CEs to, I mean, you talked about some of the ghost workers and things like that. So I think
I was even coming to that.
Yeah,
that it's a good thing that we know that at the end of this month we are going to know who our MMDCEs are. But I feel it is high time that we had that kind of public involvement and transparency in the vetting process to scrutinize or to know the kind of commitment that these people are bringing on board. We just spoke about ghost workers. So most of these appointments are done based on political or party loyalties. Because you belong to my party, I appoint you into office, and because of that, you feel reluctant to deliver. And we've seen a lot of people doing the same thing, not just with the MMDCs, but also with the ministerial levels. We can see a lot of appointments coming from the NDC side, which is absolutely good. You need to, appreciate people's loyalty and efforts, making the party successful and all. And people also give reasons that it is good to appoint people from your party because of transparency, because of loyalty, because of trust and other things, and also because they can align with your goals. But I think it is high time we had that kind of transparency in the vetting process, so we can know those that are bringing in innovative, creative ideas and other things. People are in the opposition and they can still deliver. You don't necessarily have to bring people from your party to come and take up these, because these people work at the grassroots levels. They influence community engagement, infrastructure developments, and the rest. So
yeah, I mean, on paper that's like the best case scenario, but when it comes to practicality and delivering it, you put someone in a position in a role, and then the next time, in the next 4 years, you're not going to be voted in power again, because the people that every party has their people that they think can deliver. That's why we go for polls and all that. So I think when it's time to exercise franchise and choose people, I would actually advocate for the inclusion, or they should make how individuals or people in public like you and I can actually make our inputs in the questions that they are going to ask us by the Parliamentary Select Committee. If they can actually outline ways that you can actually contribute to that particular thing. And then maybe if in case you have something against someone that has been appointed, be it a conflict of interest, be it anything, then you can actually mention it. And then, so that's what I would actually advocate for, not necessarily appointing people from other political parties to do that.
I'm hoping that in future,
I understand.
Seriously, it is on paper.
Yeah. Well, I also think it should be merit-based. It shouldn't just be based on loyalty and because the person is a good fit. But we will see how this one goes.
Yeah,
So, Ghana Tertiary Awards, Excellence Award says good morning to us. Ladakar also says good morning. Hashtag Coco Digest Morning Show. A good morning to you. So, our last story here says, rapid redevelopment of wooden structures under Gridco pylon by the Odor drain. So under the Gridco high voltage pylon, squatters residing along the railway line close to the Odor drain in Accra have started repairing wooden structures following prior reconstruction limits imposed by the city authorities following a disastrous fire in the region in June 2024. The rehabilitation got underway this January. Now, the Gridco high voltage wire was destroyed by a circle fire outbreak in Accra fires. So the fire destroyed buildings along the railroad line close to the Odor drain in June 2024, where a fire broke out along the Kwame Nkrumah Circle railway line. Now, following the June 5 fire outbreak, the Ghana Grid Company Limited had issued cautions and limits on construction under its pylons. Now, Gridco's 161 kV Achimota to Accra Central transmission line sustained significant damage as a result of the construction of wooden structures along the railway line close to the Odor drain. This resulted in power outages in Adabaka, Kwame Nkrumah Circle, and the adjacent districts. Following the incident, Gridco clarified that portions of the high voltage wire burned and broke due to the fire's severity. Now, the impacted line, was disconnected to assist in reducing the risk of electrocution by interfering with power delivery. So I think when I also read about it, they said it seems when the government changed hands, then people started rushing. So there seems to be some sort of link there. I don't know if people feel now that a new power or a new government is...
Especially, they will say we voted for the government because, I mean, looking at the margin, it was very clear. But I always say that we are our own enemies, we are our own killers as people in this country, as Ghanaians, because the high voltage are naturally not supposed to have, structures beneath them. Because of possible electrocution.
Even 5 meters away from its perimeter and all that. And
you are putting up wooden structures under this. Wooden.
Well,
I don't have anything to say.
This is not to play devil's advocate or anything.
Rest in peace.
But these people may be squatters. They are squatters. Yes, this is where they used to live. This is where they do business. There's no source of livelihood or there's no place for shelter for them. So they think that is the most reasonable action to take. I
understand you, Yaira. So does that mean that we should go and live in the sea? Like,
no, but me, if we don't have a place to live, clearly.
Like, there are so many places. Streaming live on Facebook and YouTube as well. Now it is time for us to discuss something that has to do with our health, especially we the women, right? So we'll be discussing a critical health topic that affects thousands of women every single year, that is cervical cancer. Now the most amazing part of this topic is that it is the second most common cancer among women in Ghana. Yes, and statistics from the Ghana Health Service has indicated that an estimated number of 2,797 women are diagnosed of cancer, cervical cancer every year, and out of that number, 1,699 women lose their lives to this preventable illness. Now, this alarming data highlights the urgent need for the awareness and prevention, and also at CLOG TV, we believe that early detection, screening and vaccination can help save a lot of lives as part of the Cervical Cancer Awareness Month. And so today on the show, we will be discussing the causes, symptoms, and also some preventive measures that has to do with cervical cancer. And so you need to stay with us. I have with me here a doctor with the Kolebu Teaching Hospital, a doctor that is so passionate about, women and, lifestyle choices about women, everything that has to do with the lifestyle choices of women. He got us covered. And so I have with me Dr. Robert N.T. Kwame Ai in the studio. Hello, Doc.
Hi, how's it going?
So earlier, Doctor was giving us some shocky vibes.
Oh, come on.
But that was just by the way, Doc. Thank you so much for making it this morning.
Yeah, and thanks for having me.
We are about to discuss an important health topic that affects a lot of women, especially in Ghana, and that is cervical cancer.
Yeah.
Now, first of all, let us understand what the cervix is, or where it is located, on the parts of the body, and then how the cancer also comes up with.
Okay.
Yeah, so basically that.
All right, so before I begin, I love the statistics that you gave.
Yeah.
Those are some of the most recent stats that we have from about 2 years ago.
Yeah.
So great job on that.
Thank you.
So to begin with, the cervix. So before we talk about cervical cancer, we need to know what exactly a cervix is and what exactly a cancer is. And so we will start with the cervix. So the cervix is a part of the female reproductive system.
Okay.
And women typically cannot touch the cervix. The vagina is about 7.5 centimeters long, and so one might not really be able to reach it. Fortunately, I carried with me a life-size female reproductive system model.
Okay.
Yes. And so this cute organ that you see here is the womb over here. And we have the fallopian tubes right here. And we have the ovaries over here. Okay. So this is literally like a cross section of the womb. So if the womb sits in there like this, and so if one were to slice it this way, one would see stuff in there. Okay. And so no one would have all of these things that you see in here all at once. These just show like different diseases ranging from fibroids to adenomyosis to uterine cancer. That's not what we are talking about today. So let's dive straight into the anatomy. So this is the womb, what we call the uterus, and this is the vagina. Okay. So the vagina really isn't what you see on the outside of a woman. The vagina is sort of like the tunnel right here. Okay. And so between the tunnel called the vagina and the womb is where we have the neck. Okay, so cervix in Latin means neck. So that refers to the neck, or some might say the mouth of the womb. Okay. That tends to hold the baby like during pregnancy. It doesn't open. If it opens up, the baby will fall. Yeah, so it's like an early pregnancy loss. Oh, okay. Yeah. Yes. So that's where the cervix is. This cute place right here. Okay. And so a cancer of the cervix refers to any cancer that happens in that area. Yeah. Now let's examine what a cancer is. Many people don't know what a cancer is. There are tumors, what we call neoplasias. Neoplasia means new growth. Okay. And tumors can either be benign or malignant. So benign just means that it doesn't spread. You know, it just stays where it is. But a cancer in Latin means crab. You know, you see a crab has these digits, so the cancer tends to invade. It likes to invade structures, surrounding structures, and then also go in, through the blood vessels to distant organs. So it tends to travel to different parts of the body. It's an unregulated growth. Okay, so in the body, you see that your nose, it stops growing at a point. Your lips stop growing at a point. Your finger stops growing at a point. But if your finger were to keep growing, no, that's not how nature, that's not how God made us, okay? But with cancers, they have an unregulated growth potential. So they immortalize themselves and keep growing, and they can spread. So that's what happens in the setting of the cancer of the cervix. So if you can see this white spot over there, it's a kind of cancer of the cervix.
Right. Now let's look at some of the symptoms. We have just 20 minutes, barely 20 minutes to have this conversation. So we need to have it as in-depth as possible, and also as brief as possible. So let's look at some of the symptoms. If a woman has cervical cancer, what are some of the symptoms we can see, you know, on that woman?
So cervical cancer, it can be really dangerous, especially because people don't know what to expect if they have the cancer, and also might not be aware of some of the lifestyle choices that can inform, and also be aware of the vaccinations. And so when they do have it, they might not have any symptoms. You know, that's how dangerous it can be. You might not have any symptoms
at the early stages.
Even at the early stage. It doesn't announce itself, so it's asymptomatic. However, as it progresses, it can cause vaginal bleeding, especially vaginal bleeding after menopause. So what we call a postmenopausal bleed. So the woman might think, oh, my period is back. But no, that's not a good thing. You know, and it's an alarming thing. And so if a person has her period after menopause, it's an alarming thing. Also, bleeding after sex is another symptom. And also having malodorous vaginal discharge.
Malodorous vaginal discharge.
Yeah, like vaginal discharge, which isn't pleasant.
Right. When you spoke about infection, something came in mind. You know, whenever you mention cervical cancer, a common infection is associated with that, which is the human papillomavirus. Papillomavirus. Thank you very much.
It's a mouthful. Don't worry. It's a mouthful.
Yes. How is that associated with cervical cancer? That kind of infection?
Yeah, so greater than 90% of cases of cervical cancer are associated with HPV, that's the human papillomavirus. And we have more than 120 types, what we call strains. Wow. Like how COVID mutated, and so there were different strains. It's a similar thing with HPV, where HPV has brothers and sisters. So over 20 strains. But those that are closely associated with cervical cancer are about 9 closely. So we have 16, 18, 31, 33, 45, 52, and 58. And these are covered by a vaccine. And then there are those that don't cause terrible disease like a cancer, but just some growths, which are 6 and 11. Yeah, so the virus, it tends to masquerade as you know, belonging to the body, and so it tends to evade the soldiers in the body. Typically, within 2 years of getting infected, the body gets rid of the virus.
So we have something on the screen. I don't know if you can speak to that.
Yeah, so that is the virus. It's not a good guy. It is a very bad guy. So that's what the virus looks like. And typically it takes about 2 years to get rid of the virus. But, the soldiers in the body do a great job. But unfortunately, for some people, the infection might persist and then start the process of causing the cancer. So we have a stage which is a pre-cancerous stage, which is where the screening is really important so that it doesn't progress to a florid cancer.
So as a virus, I'm assuming that there's supposed to be a vaccine that works against that. So do we have something like that for the HPV?
Yes. So we have different vaccines. There is the vaccine. There are vaccines that cover a number of HPV strains. When we look at the commonest occurring strains which cause cancer in approximately or a little over 50% of the cases, there is a vaccine called Cervarix that covers just those two. There's Gardasil, which covers 4, that's 16, 18, and then also the benign ones that are 6 and 11. And they have Gardasil 9, which covers the 9 that I talked about. So both those that don't cause a cancer, which are 2, 6, and 11, and then the rest that can cause a cancer.
Right. And so at what point can one say that this is the right time for me to get vaccinated or not?
Right, that's a really good question. So it takes a lot of political will and planning from above, from the health system to drive this, because the vaccination tends to be expensive, and so there needs to be like a co-payment system, or the system needs to be ingrained in the expanded program for immunization. We typically tend to target adolescents in their pre-sexual stage, like before they start engaging in sexual activities, because the vaccine tends to lose its tends to have a reduced efficacy if it's administered when the person already has the viral infection. So we're looking at between 9 and 12 years. Typically we target 11 to 12 years, but at large 9 to 12 years. That's the primary target age. However, the vaccine, so between 9 and 26 years, that's prime. And then if on a case-by-case basis, based on the clinician's assessments, we can extend it to 45 years. But after 45 years, the vaccine is not offered.
So speaking on the age range you just gave, it took my mind back to the beginning of our conversation. We didn't actually touch on the causes of cervical cancer.
Right.
And looking at as low as 9 years, having cervical cancer.
No, not 9 years of getting the cancer, but 9 years of, targeting the person at the age of 9 to give the vaccine.
Oh, okay, so that it protects or prevents them from getting the cancer. Oh, okay, so now let's look at the causes.
Okay. Yeah. So before I go on, I just want to say that HPV largely is transmitted.
Okay. Yeah. So if you're sexually active, you are likely to...
Yeah, like 3 out of 4 people who engage in, like all over the world, 75% of people who engage in sexual activity are in one way or the other exposed to HPV, whether it's the not so bad strain or the bad strain.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's why it's important for everyone to be vaccinated.
Okay, sure. Now, take us through the causes.
The causes.
Yeah.
So, if we're looking at from a scientific standpoint, through research, we can clearly say that HPV causes cervical cancer.
Okay.
However, if we are to look at things that put a person at a higher risk of developing cervical cancer, then we call those risk factors. So there are specific risk factors for developing the cancer. And so some of them include early age at sexual debut. So if someone starts having sex at a very young age, there's a way that the cervix responds to a person's hormones in the adolescent stage, and all of that tends to predispose a person to getting the infection.
Right. So, thank you so much. Let me take a few comments and then we continue with our conversation. So, good morning, Coco Digest. Yaira and Mimi, I like your colored outfits. Okay, thank you very much. This is also coming from Big Family Audience. Good morning, Coco Digest morning show team. I'm watching you live from Amasaman. Thank you so much. We also have this from Eunice. Eunice is asking, is it important for every woman to do a pap smear? If yes, how often?
Good. Yeah, so every woman is encouraged to have a pap smear. So we have specific screening protocols.
Okay.
So from the age of 21 to 30, we are looking at getting pap smears every 3 years.
Okay.
And then based on what we find in then we shorten the screening period in case we see anything that looks ominous, high risk or low risk. Then we know what to do. We have to do some HPV co-testing at that stage and also do a further biopsy. That means to take a piece of the tissue which looks abnormal. However, after the age of 31, we're looking at getting, of 30, sorry, we're looking at getting pap smears plus the HPV co-testing every 5 years. But again, if we see something ominous, we shorten the screening duration and also order further testing.
Okay. So we have this question coming from Ikia inside Kaswa, and she's asking, what lifestyle changes can women make to reduce their risk of developing cervical cancer, such as dietary modifications or avoiding certain environmental factors? And she's saying a wonderful show there. I'm enjoying the conversation.
Perfect.
Yeah, so back to Ikia's question.
Okay.
What lifestyle changes can women make reduce their risk of developing cervical cancer, such as dietary modifications or avoiding certain environmental factors?
Okay, so I wouldn't necessarily put dietary modifications first, because once a person is exposed, there's a risk of developing the cancer.
Okay.
But I'll talk about dietary things last. Lifestyle considerations. When we look at a person's what people tend to call body count. Okay, so lifetime sexual partners.
Should we explain what body count is?
Yeah, so lifestyles, LSP, that's lifetime sexual partners. So the number of people that a person has sex with regularly. So the higher the number of people, the higher the likelihood of getting exposed to the virus. And also having a partner who is high risk, who has a lot of sexual partners, also puts the partner who doesn't have many at risk of developing.
That's where the issue is. How do we know the number of partners our partner has?
Oh, I heard that women like to do a lot of research. So no, but
they need to be extra careful out there.
But there is another consideration where you can use barrier method of contraception, because in that case there isn't that contact to transmit the virus. Now the only problem is when you are taking out the barrier or taking off the barrier method, there's a risk of you getting into contact with the barrier, which has the infected fluids.
I see. Now I believe you can touch on the dietary,
the dietary aspect. So malnutrition tends to weaken a person's immune system, and so does HIV. So these also tend to put a person at a higher risk of developing HIV, because the person can't really get rid of the virus. So if you eat a balanced diet, it can help you in life generally. But I wouldn't say that is like the end all be all for the prevention of cervical cancer. No, it's more than that. It's sexual. It's like saying that you're going to eat a lot of carrots to prevent gonorrhea. No, it doesn't work that way.
Right. So we are wrapping up shortly. But why do you think January, which is the cervical cancer awareness month, important?
Yeah, it's really
as
a doctor.
Yeah, from your point of view.
Okay. Yeah, well, it helps us with advocacy, because then we tend to talk about how we don't really have a structured formal screening program in Ghana. And a lot of the places that need the screening and treatment, particularly the screening, they don't get the opportunity to get screened, because, we have in the setting of a low socioeconomic standpoint. Yes, so in the rural areas, they also need the screening, but unfortunately, we don't have a lot of skilled personnel deployed to those areas to carry out the screening. So it also helps us with our outreach programs, so that people can, again, be deployed and screen and treat.
Yes, our time is up, but okay, so my producer says we have extra 10 minutes.
Cool.
Because they're enjoying the conversation.
Excellent.
Right. So I was even about to ask that you made mention of the fact that people do not get the opportunity to hear of these things. Now, what is your outfit doing when I say outfit, I mean the...
Yeah, thanks, I love my outfit.
The medical fraternity doing to support government in, promoting the awareness and also making sure that people can afford, these vaccinations, because you made mention of the fact that it is expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah, so what do you think your outfits can do, or what are you doing to solve that problem?
Yeah, that's a really good question.
Yeah.
So if we engage in, stakeholder conversations,
sure.
It's usually at the level of the Ghana Health Service. Even about close to a decade ago, there was a partnership with one agency from the UK where we had some of the vaccines available, Gavi. So there was that partnership to vaccinate a lot of adolescents within a certain age range. That's really good. We also do a lot of research to be able to find what the prevalence is, what people's needs are, so that we also meet those needs. These are some of the things that we do. However, in terms of how the vaccine needs to be rolled out, we need to have a screening program first and foremost. We can't jump the gun to be doing extra things. We need to have a screening program. We need to have a vaccination program, a formal one, so that people are aware of it, and also make sure that at the school level, in high school, people are aware of this. So social studies or biology or integrated science, people are going to learn about this, so that they can also be empowered to make the right decisions for their lives.
Okay, so we have another question here. This is from Miss Asante inside Kumasi Santase. Oh, okay. We have some Comericans watching us this morning. Well, I am enjoying the show. Can I get his contacts for more information? Okay, I think Doc will drop his contacts, before we leave here.
Sure.
She's asking, what are the potential benefits and risk of extending the interval between cervical cancer screening for women who have had a history of normal pap test results, and how do you counsel patients on that issue?
Sorry, the question is a little long. Yeah. Can you?
So she's asking, what are the potential benefits and risk of extending the interval between cervical cancer screening for women who have had a history of normal pap test, and how do you counsel patients on that? So let's say a patient had gone for, you understand?
Yeah, okay. I get to know.
Okay.
So I would say that from the time of exposure to the virus to the time of developing a full-blown cancer, it can take as little as 10 years to 30 years.
Okay.
So you might get an okay test result now and decide that, oh, well, it's been normal. I don't need to see my doctor any longer. Maybe I'll give myself 10 years. Then by the time you get there, that's when things might be advanced. So it's better to take a preventive approach where the treatment is not as invasive, where the treatment is very simple and it's an office procedure, rather than waiting to have it advanced and then having proper surgery to get out there. So
with that, how often should one, get tested?
So it depends on the person's age. So from the ages of testing from 21. So we do a pap smear. This is the kit, by the way.
Okay.
So we do a pap smear from the ages of 21 to 30, of course, if the person is sexually active, because if the person hasn't had sex before, the person hasn't even been exposed to HPV vaginally. Okay, so there's no way that you can do the testing because there's a hymen in position. So from the age of 21 to 30. So if I'm getting
you clearly, a virgin cannot, undergo this pap smear or test?
No, because there's a hymen.
Nothing. No, okay.
And cervical cancer, it was found that people who are nuns and of the really conservative religious groups typically don't get it.
Okay.
So that's what raised the alarms that this might actually be sexually transmitted, and from the research we found that it is. So we're looking at 21 to 30 years of getting screened every 3 years. Okay, so that's with the pap smear. And then after the age of 31, we're looking at 5-yearly pap smears with HPV co-testing up to the age of 65.
Okay. Is the testing expensive?
Well, it depends. No, it's not free. So it depends on the the organization or the company that is organizing.
Speak to your outfits. Kolebu Teaching Hospital.
Oh, I would have to find out.
We want an estimated amount so that when we are coming, we come prepared. We don't want to come and meet any surprise.
Any surprise? Yeah. I'll get back to you on the information.
Right. Don't forget to take your number as well, because people want to have personal conversations with you.
Yeah, for
now,
sure.
Congratulations, Miriam. Thank you, Coco Digest, for always putting smiles on our viewers' face. Okay. I am Miss Ernestina Mensah from Dodowa. To my question, what are the different types of HPV vaccines available, and how do they differ in terms of efficacy, duration of protection, and potential side effects?
Yeah, that's a really great question.
Yeah.
So the efficacy, it's 99% effective, the vaccines. And there are different types. So remember I mentioned the one that confers immunity to 2 strains, that is HPVs 16 and 18. There is also the kind that covers 4 strains, that's 16, 18, and then the 2 that aren't warts. So it can be vulval or anal warts. Then there is the kind that covers 9. So that's 6, 11, 16, 18, 31, 33, 45, 52, and 58. So that covers a lot more, that confers a lot more immunity towards the whole CA cervix picture versus the smaller kind.
Right. So, Miss Ernestina Mensah, the efficacy of the vaccine is very safe. It's 100%. So
99.
Don't worry. I've added 1%.
You added 1 for needs work. Yes.
Okay, so 99 actually. So, Doc, how do you see the future of cervical cancer in Ghana? Especially, in my intro, I made mention of the fact that it's the second, most common cancer among Ghanaian women.
Yeah.
How do you see the future of that in Ghana? Do you think the awareness has gotten to a lot of people? A lot of people are informed about, cervical cancer. Rural areas, those in the cities, do you think the information has gotten down to a lot of people?
I would say no.
No.
Even from when we look at gynecological cancers, that's cancers that affect the female reproductive system. It's the #1 cancer.
Yeah.
Okay, so it ranks #1 somewhere. It's not just the number 2.
Yeah.
So it's really important. Sorry, what was the question again?
So I wanted to know that if the information or awareness has
getting out there. No.
Out there.
With regards to media coverage and having a lot of public education on the subject matter, no. There are other competing conditions that are getting the spotlight.
Sure.
And so we inadvertently tend to put the information on CA cervix in the backseat, but that shouldn't be the case. As I mentioned, we need that education from at a very young age. So having it ingrained in the school curriculum. Also, when we look at social media, it's a very powerful tool.
Exactly.
IG, Facebook, Snapchat, TikTok. You can dance and have the thing and show. There's a lot that we can do to raise the awareness of CA cervix. I feel like we can do a lot better. Again, we would need the government to really spearhead this and have a national program for this situation.
Okay. Doc, please, let's take your final words, final advice to women battling with cervical cancer, or those that are sexually exposed and apprehensive about the fact that they might be having cervical cancer after listening to our discussion. Any advice, any comments, any recommendations to them?
Yeah, so if you're watching me at home, please get tested. Don't sit at home and assume that you are not going to get any issues. It's always better to take a preventive standpoint in managing an illness than to get the full-blown illness, where if it's advanced, because in Ghana, usually we catch the disease when it's advanced. So if it's advanced, risk of not, we have 5-year prognoses or the chance of living. As it advances, your quality of life and the length of your life also reduces. And so it's always important to get screened. If you have it, it's always good to also seek psychological validation from your family, who should also validate your feelings and also make you feel good. Help them. They should help you to do stuff around the house, also take you for reviews. It helps the psyche, and also seek psychological support. That we do a great job with, because we also refer patients for psychological counseling.
Right. Thank you so much, Doc. Dr. Robert N.T. Kwame Aye was our guest for the lifestyle segment today, as we discussed empowering women, drawing awareness, creating awareness on cervical cancer, the second most common cancer among Ghanaian women. And I hope you have been informed, you have been educated, and you are going to take that action today. Thank you so much. And up next is my favorite. We are here to see amazing personalities doing so well in the field of birthdays. And so stick with us. We'll be right back.
I heard today was your birthday. I heard today was your birthday. Today was your birthday.
You're welcome back to the Cocoa Digest morning show. Now let's get straight into our birthday celebrations. Let's start with our first birthday celebrant. A happy birthday, Lady Akosia. We pray that the Lord's goodness and mercies follow you all the days of your life. May today mark the beginning of great testimonies in your life. Have a wonderful day today. This is from the CLBC Baptist Young Ladies. To Lady Akosia. We also have this to Helena. Happiest birthday to you, Akete. There is never a dull moment with this girl. Praying that the energy you carry around you will continue to make impacts on the lives of every single person. Your special friend. Okay, we also have this, a happy birthday to you, big bro. We pray that may the good Lord bless and keep you. May this new age bring you much happiness and joy. Age gracefully. This is from your siblings. A happy birthday to my son, Christopher Nanadua. I wish greatness in all your endeavors and more of everything you wish for. Stay blessed, from your auntie Na Amankwa Evelyn. A happy birthday to Samuel Fifi Ando. May God's mighty hand lead you in all your ways. You are a mighty tree, and in your generation shine brightest in your love, from your parents and Auntie Yaira. A happy birthday to Ransford, Clocksack Band head. We wish you a happy birthday, Ransford. May the good Lord continue to bless you and enlarge your coast. You are doing so well, and we appreciate everything you've been doing for us. Thank you so much for joining us on the Lifestyle birthday segment on today's Cocoa Digest morning show. I am Miriam Abena Adide. Up next is our sportsman, our sports journalist, our sports everything. Up and grateful, taking us into the world of sports. Please stay with us. We'll be right back.
CLOG TV, Beyond the Policy. CLOG TV. Beyond the policy.
Clement Yabankwe. Today happens to be another wonderful day. We are going to have a wonderful interaction with Mr. Martin Ohene Enim, also there's a managing partner for Pinnacle Legacy Consult, who was here with us last week, and today promising to be very educative and transformative as well. So we just want you to just call a friend and just share the link to colleagues. Tell them that business update segment is live on their screen, that is on CLOG TV. Today we are going to discuss issues of revenue mobilization. We know over the years, GRA have been able to exceed their target, but Finance Minister Dr. Forson has also mandated GRA that 2025 targets today should equally exceed or surpass it. So we are going to have such discussions, ways that GRA is supposed to exceed their targets in 2025. And doing this with me is Mr. Martin Ohene Enim, a legacy consult partner of Pinnacle. Mr. Martin, good morning and you're welcome.
Good morning. How are you doing?
You're doing so wonderful.
Yeah, great for having me. It's always a pleasure to be in your studios to discuss issues that are on our economy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Last week was so transformative, very educative.
It's a pleasure.
So that as we told you, we are going to have a very wonderful discussion, and just stay glued to your TV. We're just going to move straight into conversations. Though data from United States have shown that over 31 million population of Ghanaians, that is what we have, and out of the 31 million, only 14 million are people who are ready to contribute to the tax, and out of the even 14 million, only 6 million are people who are currently contributing to the tax rate. So the question is, are our tax brackets not widely expand enough, or we are not getting enough people in the who are supposed to contribute to our tax? Actually, because GRA has made us understand that since 2020 they've been increasing targets, but currently Finance Minister is also asking them to actually increase or surpass their targets for 2025. Mr. Martin, what is your preliminary view on the performance of GRA so far?
Yeah, so definitely they've been doing well thus far. If they have been exceeding their tax revenue targets over the years, it's indicative that at least they have been very doing well relative to their efforts to raising the needed revenue to support government activities. They have been surpassing it. They don't set a target for themselves. The central government has a program for any fiscal year. So they determine the revenues that they would want to generate and then the expenditure they would want to make. So having determined the fiscal revenues they will need for the particular fiscal year, then they set such target for the revenue authorities to be able to generate those revenues to support government activities. So it is the efforts. They don't set the targets. Targets are set by KPIs are set by the finance minister, who is the minister responsible. GRA is just an agency under the Ministry of Finance.
Okay.
So they work in tangent with the Minister for Finance day to day, and those targets are given to them by the finance minister and the central government. The call for continuous exceeding target is necessary, particularly in the kind of economy we find ourselves. There's the need to engender productivity and growth and spur the economy to be able to produce the jobs that we need. So to be able to do that, you need revenues to be able to do that, particularly when the government has also promised to take off certain tax handles. It means that their tax levels will go down. So campaign that they challenge the revenue authorities to continuously put in effort to generate the needed revenue for them to support their activities for the year. But we also spoke about the lower number of people contributing to the tax revenues of our country. It is important to have such discussion. The reason being that our economy is very informal, highly informal in nature. Many of the contributors of tax revenue are not found in the informal sector. For example, the masons, the Indomie seller, the pure water sellers, all those that are found in the informal sector do not pay income tax. They only pay the indirect tax on purchases that they are made. But the income that they generate, the direct tax that is supposed to be deducted or paid to the central government to finance their programs, they don't pay that. They are omitted. So it is important to expand the tax base. We call it the tax base or the tax bracket, to identify such people. How do we do that? Formalize the economy, digitalize your tax system to be able to identify these people so they can also contribute their quota to national development.
Okay, so that's wonderful. You made mention of two things. That is, you need to formalize our economy and also digitalize our tax system in order to get all the informal sectors into the tax bracket.
Yeah.
We know in 2022, GRA introduced the system of that's electronic mode of filing your taxes or filing taxes, and yes, one way or the other, it has been so efficient. That doesn't mean that it has not been able to attain its needed results, because if it had, then all these issues with informal sectors, the masons, mothers in the markets, they should be able to equally file their tax.
Yes, it has, but I think we need to continue to work on it, because we need further education on it for people to appreciate. I deal with a lot of clients. Some of them don't appreciate how to use the portals to file their taxes. So the GRA is incumbent on their part to educate the citizenry as to how to use those portals, what are the benefits, the procedures, and the continuous education will deepen the knowledge of how to use those portals. And I believe that will go a long way in enhancing the tax revenue mobilization efforts of the GRA. So they need continuous. That system is working. Indeed, it has helped to formalize the activities of the GRA, and is one of the reasons why they continuously able to achieve their target as an authority.
Okay, that's wonderful. But people always ask a question that I have been paying my tax, I have been filing my tax, but at the end of the day, I don't really see what the tax is actually used for. So, per the data from United States, that's the department, the research stated that out of 14 million Ghanaians who are supposed to pay their tax, and only 6 million are paying their tax. Even out of the 6 million, the question is, how many of them do they file their tax consistently?
Yeah.
So, is the issue about they know what their taxes are being used for? Is that the reason why people are not willing to contribute or to just file their tax?
Last time when I came to the city, I made this point. You see, it is important, the tone that you set at any governance level.
Okay.
So, for the tone that you set and gender confidence in you. So if you're able to demonstrate that the little commitment or contribution that the citizens make to national development, they are through taxes and other forms, are being used judiciously, research has shown that it leads to compliance. People want to commit to the cause. When the next day, when you go to and see your road being fixed, you have hospitals, you have a good water system, ECG, very is reliable and moderate in terms of the fees. You know that no, this is national development. That's why advanced economies, even though they are tax systems, they pay more taxes than us. They are even compliant than us because they see that their taxes are being used for the purpose for which they make such contributions. So research has demonstrated that if you are able to set a good tone, if you're able to commit the funds of the people to development, and they see that, the compliance just become a given, and they will do so willingly to be able to ensure that the country moves to where it's supposed to go to.
Okay, that's so wonderful. So we expect the current GRA commissioner and the finance ministry to develop a lot of strategies where would make people would easily walk into any office or just pick their phone and be able to file their tax, because that is where we want to get to.
But already we have a medium-term framework that is guiding our tax policy from 2024 to 2027. They have identified a lot of loopholes, particularly in the corporate income tax and the VAT, which have demonstrated that only based on the sample that they did, the research has revealed that about only 39% of these entities commit to taxes, even those that have in the formal sector. It's only 39% of those 61% are there, who are not contributing anything to the tax revenues of our country. So the GRA is mobilizing efforts to be able to identify these people, bring them into the tax net, and be able to enhance their revenue.
So what's yes, you've mentioned one or two reasons why such people might not be able to contribute. But aside that, what do you think would be a factor because for corporate taxes, we know you are mandated.
Yeah.
So what at all will make an institution not to file his or her tax?
Well, we have what we call the GRA must do some administrative reforms, enhance the competence of their audit team. You see, the audit team go across the country, pursue corporate entities, individuals that are supposed to pay taxes. I think they need to enhance that effort the more, and render training and development programs for such people. When we engage them, we see some of them lack some little expertise in there, but they are doing well at the end of the day. So they should continuously let the audit team go across the country, identify those corporate entities, penalize those who are obliged to pay the taxes and are not paying them, and that will encourage compliance going forward. Administrative reforms, setting the right tone at the top, increasing the tax base, doing some legal framework changes. For example, in the fiscal regime in the natural resources, be the petroleum and the gold area, we are not generating enough revenues that we are supposed to do. As a country that is blessed with a lot of resources in that area, our fiscal regimes look a bit expensive. So investors across the globe are going to our competitors across the South region and trying to invest there. That deny us the needed revenue that we need to be able to. So the finance minister is beginning to work on that. There's this gold board that is coming on. They're also looking at to change the fiscal regime of the natural resource area so that we can mobilize a lot of government activities. And I believe that will help them exceed the tax targets that the government has set for the year 2025.
Okay, so when the finance minister visits GRA, on his first visit to them, he made them understand that currently Ghana currently lack access to Eurobond markets. He also said domestic bonds as well, commercial banks loans, and making domestic resources mobilization crucial. So it means that the only alternative now as for Ghana in order to make sure all things run is the ability to mobilize our domestic revenue.
That's true.
The ability for us to being able to recruit all our taxes. And here's the case that I still have a problem because if our taxes or GRA is able to hit their targets every year, because as at let me just give a quite data on this. In 2020, the actual target set was 42.7 billion Ghana cedis, and that was the target, but the was 55.338 billion Ghana cedis. So they exceed target by 6%. In 2021, the target was 57.02 billion Ghana cedis, and the actual collection was 57.32 billion Ghana cedis, and achieve a growth rate of 26.3% over 2020. So you could see that coming to 2024, which the target was 145.9 billion Ghana cedis, they were able to get 153.5 billion Ghana cedis, exceeded target by 5.3%. So as earlier as we say that GRA have been performing very well. And looking at our revenue mobilized so far, even if you look at salary structure or the salary expenditure of government salary expenditure always take even half of our total revenue. So if salary is taking half of our total revenue, left with just, let's say, half of the revenue to just go into infrastructure and other sectors we are supposed to go into. And now the that we can get access to Eurobonds and other financial assistance we need to. So what is the way forward now?
Obviously, that's why you have subscribed to the IMF program. The challenge you have as an economy, as a country, is very dire. Every country, every developing economy have to have access to external capital market to be able to support its domestic needs. The moment you are denying access to external capital market, your economy will be a disaster. You don't need Russia-Ukraine war to even come to destroy it. To the extent that you don't have access to international capital market, you don't have the needed reserves to support the import demands, and that will trigger inflation and destabilize the macroeconomic environment of the country. So the strategy then is that how do we domestically then raise the needed resources to support government activities? Now, we also have done a lot of domestic debt exchange that a lot the savings that is supposed to support private sector to thrive and grow, that a lot of them have gone to government, and the private sector has been crowded out, which must provide the needed growth and job opportunities that we need. That has gone to government, and government is not bringing that back into the economy. There has been domestic restructuring of the debt and an extension of the loan repayment period, and also the interest thereon on those securities. So it is a very difficult situation where we need to bring hope into the economy and generate investor confidence. All the economic agents beginning to know that Ghana is now on a path, or I don't want to use those words, so that it becomes so, but it's a path that we need to renew our hopes going forward. How do we do that domestically? There's the need to call Ghana to support the government. And how do we do that? JRA, you are one of the agencies we will have to rely on. Can we raise enough revenue? We must not let them sleep because they achieve previous targets. We need to grow the economy. Where we are, people will call it as a recession. A recession is a down turn of an economy. Okay. And to do that, you need revenue to invest in the economy, to spare the economic activities that will provide the needed jobs and income levels for the people. Yeah. So it is incumbent, particularly where we are as an economy, we need to challenge the GRA. And I believe that the finance minister is on course by challenging them and making sure that the needed revenues, that they only didn't want to raise revenue, they're also looking at cutting expenditure. Okay. They're also looking at cutting expenditure. The finance minister and their government begin to demonstrate that by reducing the number of ministries that we have, which is incumbent, because when we have a lot of programs which are so much, you spend and you may not necessarily get the economic benefits. You mentioned about 1/3 of our revenues used to pay salaries and allowances. I'm telling you, when you check the 2023 fiscal year, our budget, about 2/3 of the revenue was used to incur expenditures that are not economic in nature. They don't provide the needed revenue that will spare growth. For example, you are paying salaries, you are paying interest and amortization, and you are granting subsidies to government institutions that are making losses. For ECG, the likes of GMPC and other states, Cocoa Board and other states that cannot survive. So the taxes that we pay, instead of it being invested in things that will create jobs and production, we are rather using it to support loss-making activities that are not bringing any economic benefit to the country. So that is what the state of the economy is. So it is important that we understand where we are as a country and know that the expectations I have of whether it was NDC that won or MPP that won, where we are as a country is a very dire situation. Okay. It wouldn't take a year or two to reset, if I'm supposed to pick that way, re-engineer the economy to bring it to a place of prosperity. It will take some years, my brother. Look at the debt to GDP ratio. You don't look at the proportion of revenue that is used to pay interest and amortization and salary. How much is left in the kitty to finance education? How much is left to finance development? How much is left to finance roads? You heard the last road minister when he queried the current minister for roads and highways. The fiscal revenue that the allocations that are given to the ministries are so low, and many of them goes into revenue expenditures, not capital expenditures, because the previous loans, the previous revenues that we got as a country, we are not using it to finance projects that have positive net present values. Okay. And we have gone into a lot of misuse and so it's a sad story for our country. Leaders, when you are given opportunities to serve, you should work in the interest of the people. Today we are talking about pushing the GRA to do well. They're already doing that. It's because the economy is not doing well. So we continue to challenge them to make sure that we are able to meet our
Okay, Mr. Martin, what should an ordinary Ghanaian do? What is the role of the person watching us this morning? What is the person supposed to do in order for us all? Because we are all building this country together. Yeah. So what is the role of an ordinary Ghanaian in this aspect of exceeding our target in terms of revenue mobilization?
We need to be committed to the cause of Ghana. The issue that I wanted my own and my family, we should take it away. Corruption leads to it denied the nation of development. I guess in our various offices, in our various ministries, agencies, when the government, when we are giving the nod, you should know that you are going to serve the people. So we should all commit to the cause of Ghana. Where in our own small ways, if the taxes we are supposed to pay, we must make sure that we do that. Otherwise, the continuous exit of the youth to all advanced economies, and they are going to do some jobs that are not in nature, but they have to go there. So please, there's a country we have to build. Let us all, in our small corner, contribute towards our taxes, our attitude, and dedication to the cause of Mother Ghana.
You mentioned the fact that even some people are not. The portal is not user friendly.
Yeah.
And some people too are just let me know that they really want to file their tax.
Yeah.
But the stress involved in getting to the office or whoever was supposed to come to them in their various businesses or their various firms, recently they are not coming.
Yeah.
So what should the GRA do?
They should have task force across, identify the various economic sectors that we have, the taxpayers, catalog them, profile them, and then make sure they have their task force pursuing each of the profiles that they've developed. Educate them. Our mothers are in the market.
Yeah.
Go them, educate the need to contribute to tax, continuous education on our airwaves, why we need to mobilize enough tax to run activities. Okay. And then govern on itself, having gotten this revenue, must use those revenues very well to spur growth so that a lot of firms, companies will grow and will continue to contribute more taxes to the government. It's not only about paying the taxes. Taxes is also used to expand the economy, more and drive innovation. Then more companies and more industries will spring up, and the government can also raise additional revenues from the new companies that will spring up as a result of it. Make good use of the resources that have come to him.
Okay. Before we continue, there's a message from Joyce Ajay on Facebook. He said, "Hi, CLOG TV, keep up the good work. I am enjoying the conversation. Your guest is Leonard." Yes, and Ak Ghana also said good morning. He's also enjoying the conversation. If I really recall, some years ago, you could see that, let's say, our mothers, when they hear that the tax force are coming, they just lock the shop.
Yeah.
They will just lock their shop, and whoever will be there, they will tell you that when they come, tell them that I'm not. Yes, I know you've actually educated them on the reason why they should actually file their tax. On behaviors like this, what will you tell our mothers?
Yes, I think they, our mothers.
Yes, they lock in the shop.
Oh,
because when they realize the tax force are coming, some will just lock the shop and tell them I'm not around.
I think I rather would advise the tax force rather.
Okay.
They are very unfriendly with our mothers. So when they see them,
it's not the fault of our mothers.
Yes, so when they see them, they begin to run away. They begin to seize their goods but you see, you need to be administratively, you need to be friendly with the taxpayer. If they are there, they are your clients. Yeah. Indeed, we call the tax reforms begin to call us clients. I get to the point. So what they need to do is that they need to be very friendly and have a friendly relationship with the taxpayer. And I'm telling you that will help in the kind of relationship they have and the experiences they have with their GRA authorities. When that happens, if they are not there, you cannot get a revenue. So it is important to foster a good relationship with them so that they can continuously, if today you get some 1 cedi, next day you can get some 2 cedis. Progressively, you see that they will be committed to the cause of revenue paying. I guess sometimes you go to tax, they go to the Chinese, they go to and seize their, no. You need to, now they are very strategic indeed, be more friendly, engaging, giving them a payment plan and understanding their business. That will help. That will let the business stay down, go and lock down and close down the business. That means you deny the country future revenues. But when you're able to foster a good relationship with them, give them a payment plan, those who are owing, you could get those money in the foreseeable future. The business will be there and sustainably you can make your revenues to support government activities.
That's so wonderful. So GRA executive, that's the leaders or the tax force. Mr. Martin is telling us, let's be friendly to our clients or our customers. Because when I'm not friendly, when you come to them, as you said, they'll lock up the shop and they'll rather run there. Yes. So, Mr. Martin, before we wrap up with the conversation, there's this question, and the person is saying that how should I contribute to the tax outlet, since I'm not really seeing much in terms of the usage of the taxes?
Indeed, we contribute to tax. Tax is either direct or indirect. Okay, maybe he's saying that he's not paying the direct tax from his income. Okay. But when you take trotro and you pay to what's the name? The maids and all that, you've paid taxes. That tax, there's a tax on the petroleum product. So that is factored in by the trotro drivers. When you go to a grocery shop and go and buy some potato chips or ice water, you've paid some tax. That is an indirect tax on the item. But what maybe he's trying to say is an income tax. You see, indeed it is true. African economies, one of the challenges we have is that the misuse of public funds. I will not be committed. We are rational as humans. We will not be committed to a cause when we know that the resource that we contribute is not being used. In our homes and even small groups that we form, we always are particular about, hey, where is the money? Can you run the account of it? If we got to find out that they are not making good use of those monies, we are not committed to the cause again, and the group totally becomes a failure. Okay. That is also the case of national governance. If the president and its appointees are not demonstrating love, commitment, good use of the resources that we have as a country. They are not making use. I can't see hospitals, I can't see roads, I can't see my traffic lights are off. Basic things are not working effectively. How will I be committed? It's basic. So we challenge our leaders to make good use of the resources that we contribute to them. And I tell you, we will demonstrate same by continuously contributing. And research have demonstrated empirical evidence that validate that assertion that tax increases when government make good use of those resources.
Okay. Thank you very much. And before you go, you just your last word, and this last word is going to be, what innovative tax incentive can be introduced without compromising revenue collection?
Yes, you see.
And this, I just want to speak to our viewers. Sorry. Yes, I want to speak to our viewers by looking. Yeah.
All right. So, what government must do is the new enterprises that are coming up, the youth that want to contribute to job income and provide the needed jobs. Government should support them by giving them some tax holidays and reliefs so that they can grow up. The tax exemptions that went to Parliament, that was supposed to exempt some corporate bodies from paying tax. It shouldn't be political in nature. Tax exemptions to only entities that are sectors and want to champion growth and job opportunities. It shouldn't be just because you are my cousin, you are my father-in-law, and because of that we give you tax exemptions at the detriment of the country. Mm-hmm. The last Parliament, there was a debate between both sides. Yeah. Whilst we were going for a loan of $250 million to support the financial sector that has collapsed, we, the same as a country, we're championing a tax exemption of $350 million. Well, what sense does it make? What sense does it make? So we should actually provide incentive for the youth so that they can create those particular entrepreneurs who have their companies well formalized. They are demonstrating commitment to a particular cause. I believe the government should support those people so that we create jobs. A lot of graduates finish school, there's no job in the system. Unemployment has become a national security issue, and I believe that the government should ensure that its fiscal measures are towards championing jobs and providing tax incentives that government industries will need to thrive. What the 24-hour economy will bring to the table.
Yes, so that is Mr. Martin Ohene Enim, and we'll be having more discussion with him, especially when the finance minister brings out the 2025 budget. We'll be discussing that with him also on this very, very studio. And it has been very wonderful, and we've been discussing about ways that GRA need to actually look into to exceed their target for 2025. Even though it has not publicly been communicated, that is their target for 2025. But we will just be following this story keenly, and we will bring viewers the target set for 2025 for GRA in terms of revenue mobilization. And it has been so educative and transformative. And doing this, as I said earlier, is with Mr. Martin Ohene Enim, a managing partner partner for Pinnacle Legacy Consult located at La Paz. It is a financial institution and you can reach out to them for all assistance in terms of financial related matters and also legal matters as well. It has been very informative. I'm doing this with you as Clement Yaban Kwe, and stay tuned for more as Yaira Awonu and her guest are bringing you more
CLOG TV, beyond the policy. CLOG TV. Beyond the policy.
You're welcome back to the Cocoa Digest Morning Show. If you're just tuning in, this is the Cocoa Digest Morning Show, and we're about to have our main discussion, and it is on sanitation, as you saw in our flyers we put up on our social media platforms. So yes, we're streaming live on Facebook and on YouTube, so of course do well to send in your comments and your questions to our resource person and our guests as always, and then she will answer your questions. She would also, of course, she's here to teach us a little bit about what's going on here in Ghana with regards to sanitation. And we have our WhatsApp number displayed on your screen. So, of course, you can also send your comments and questions there, and I'll read them out loud. And when the phone lines are opened, I will also do well to inform you so you can give us a call and then ask your questions. So let's get into the conversation. Today's guest is in the person of Madame Florence Kuchi. Yeah, she likes to call herself Honey Kuchi Kuchi, and I mean, we all know why. So she is a public health director of the Greater Accra Metropolitan Assembly, and she's joining us here. Later in the show, we will also have the bus stop boys and interact with them. So of course, stay glued to your seats. Hello, Madam. Good morning.
Hello, my dear. Good morning.
It's an honor to have you here with us.
Thank you.
We hope you are doing well.
By His grace, I'm doing well. And you too.
I was so well. So, you are the public health director at the Greater Accra Metropolitan Assembly. Tell us what the job is about.
Okay, so as the public health director for the Accra Metropolitan Assembly, it entails a lot. So, public health is all about ensuring that anything that is within the environment that can be detrimental to health is prevented, or the chain is being broken, so that people can live within the metropolis with ease and healthiness. So it encompasses waste management, liquid and solid waste management. It encompasses noise pollution, air quality, air pollution, water quality management, facility, hospitality industry management, all type of premises inspection that will lead to the health of the public is our mandate. Food safety, hygiene promotion, and all that.
Okay. So it's not just one type, but all kinds of.
It's a multifaceted.
That's great. So we are here to discuss enhancing sanitation management in Ghana. So when we say sanitation, is it just about the refuse we dump, or it encompasses more than that? Okay, so what is sanitation? That is the first thing we need to ask. So sanitation may have it is a double-edged sword. So sanitation is a way of providing infrastructure to handle liquid and solid waste in the environment that are likely to be detrimental to health. But if this is sanitation, is it important, or what are the some of the modes of sanitation? So we can have the solid and liquid waste is sanitation. We have hygiene promotion is sanitation, and we have the environmental cleanliness as a model of sanitation. Then from there, let's move to the importance of sanitation, because anything that you are doing, you must check whether it is important to you. If it is not important, why do you waste your time? Is sanitation really important? Yes, sanitation is important through, I call it 3 P's and 1 S. 3 P's and 1 S.
Yes, so the first P is to prevent disease. We make sure that we practice good sanitation to prevent disease occurrence. And the second P is what? To protect the environment. Because the environment is the reservoir. And anything that is within the environment, if not, it is not clean, it means they are likely to have an adverse effect on health.
Okay.
And it can cause a lot of havoc. It can lead to pandemic, it can lead to endemic, it can lead to a lot of diseases outbreak for human and animal. And we know human and animals are correlated.
Yes.
If the animal gets sick, likely the next thing is the human being.
Yeah.
So we protect the environment against these organisms.
Okay.
Then we promote dignity.
Okay.
Sanitation is a right. It's human right. It was made a right by a UN Assembly, the General UN Assembly. Then the last one is to support economic development.
Okay.
This encompasses the importance of sanitation.
Okay.
So having known the importance of sanitation, we can't just go to talk about enhancing it. We must look at, are there challenges?
Yeah.
You understand? If there are no challenges, then why are we sitting here? Maybe it's because there are challenges. That is why we are sitting here.
So you said we prevent disease.
Yes.
Promote
hygiene. We promote dignity.
Yes, promote
dignity. We protect the environment.
Protecting the environment and supporting economic development. Okay.
Sure.
So 3 P's and 1 S. I hope we are taking notes. Yes. Okay. So can you give us, I think since you're in the public health sector, I'm sure you can give us the general overview of the sanitation issues in Ghana.
Okay. So let me say from the 2021 population census, Ghana stands, we are not just talking about the waste we see. When you are talking about sanitation, you are talking about liquid waste and solid waste.
Okay.
So liquid waste encompasses human excreta, urine, grey water, and all others that made up of liquid waste. Then when you are talking about the solid waste, it also comprises of organic and inorganic waste materials. So with the liquid waste coverage, so Ghana stands at according to the statistics, we have a 53.4% coverage that have houses that have improved sanitation facilities in their homes. Then out of that, we have 19.3% that practice open defecation. Yes, they don't have any facility.
Yeah.
They just do it in the open. Then the rest practice what we call shared facilities.
Yeah.
Then when it comes to the solid waste aspect, Ghana has a coverage of 60.5%. So somebody will say, I'm going to toilet. You don't go to toilet. The toilet is the infrastructure that we use to excrete the waste material that is inside us. So every household must have a toilet facility. So these are the statistical outbreak of the waste coverage in the country. Yes.
So speaking of challenges, what are some of the challenges Ghana is facing? I mean, it's pretty obvious that we have a sanitation issue, but from the statistical point of view, what are the main challenges here?
So we can tease out challenges such as lack of accessibility to sanitation facilities. You can go to some areas, for instance, let's even use the Accra Metropolitan Assembly, that is the central business district that we have. We have some areas that you cannot, they don't even have a small portion for you to even construct a household toilet for them. So lack of accessibility is one. Even how to even dispose of their solid waste that they've generated, how the waste collection company can even maneuver to enter into those communities to pick the waste is another one. So lack of access to the sanitation facility. Then inadequate infrastructure. Inadequate infrastructure is one. Because in the country, we don't even have an engineered sanitary landfill. And if a country does not have an engineered sanitary landfill, it becomes very difficult to manage the waste properly. In Ghana, we are practicing the linear waste system.
So there are actually types of waste
and globally, everybody is going the circular economy. The circular economy is you produce the waste, you segregate the waste, you sort the waste into the component, then they pick it for transportation, then the waste is being treated. So those that can be recycled will recycle and come back into the system for reuse.
Yeah.
Those that cannot be recycled will then go to the engineered landfill site for proper treatment and then handling at the engineered landfill. That will prevent any form of redirection it back into the system.
Okay.
At any point in time that the waste goes to the engineer landfill site and come back into the system, it means there's something wrong with the value chain.
Okay.
But Ghana, what we do is we produce, we store, we transport, and we dispose. So we need an infrastructure that will handle the waste management. That is the the solid aspect. Then when you come to the liquid aspect, we need proper sewer systems that can handle the excreta that we bring out and then also manage it properly to prevent any occurrence.
Yeah.
After infrastructure, we talk of human behavior.
Yeah.
Behavior change. It's a very critical, challenging aspect, changing the behavior of people to go according to standards. People always want to go back or they want to stay in where they are. Then the last thing is funding. Sanitation is a public good. Being a public good, a lot of funding needs to go into it. Okay. Mostly, I see sanitation as a waste as wealth in transit. Because if a country sees their waste as wealth in transit, they manage it in that manner, then it leads to economic development.
Okay.
You know, it's one of the importance of sanitation. It leads into economic development. Because if you have your waste and then you turn it back into the system, people will buy, people will use, then it doesn't become a waste. So you get the money, then you re-put it inside. But if you see it as waste, it turns into a curse. That is where it will lead to diseases outbreak, cholera, diarrhea, typhoid, malaria, and all those things.
Okay, so you mentioned that we don't have an engineer landfill site. So what category do our landfill sites here in Ghana fall under?
So it is sometimes we will say it is just we call it just a landfill, a dumping site.
Okay.
It's a final disposal site. It's not an engineered landfill site. An engineered landfill site, at the end of the day, all waste that have gone to the place must be capped and covered so that you don't see any waste anywhere. You visit the engineered landfill site, you are not supposed to smell scent. But just go to areas that they use as dumping site. Even in the whole of Accra Metropolitan Assembly, we don't have a dumping site. We travel about almost 80 kilometers to go and dump our waste. It is at a place we call Insumia, the Eastern region.
Okay.
Yes.
But there's a place, I think, I don't really know Accra very well, but I'll try. It's around towards the Kolibu area. There's
Zoti.
Yes,
Zoti.
I think so.
Zoti is not a dumping site.
But the place is full of rubbish.
That place was meant for what we call transfer station.
Okay.
And the transfer station was not managed well. The systems failed and it has turned into that tin lying there. So it is even in the list of for decommissioning. Very soon it will be decommissioned. It's not supposed to be there.
Okay.
Yes.
Then there's another place that I know of. It's in Adenta, between Pantine. It's also a place just full of rubbish.
That is used to be the former landfill site.
Yes.
But it has been decommissioned.
Okay.
Yes, it has been decommissioned. It was from that place that we moved to the Insumia.
Okay.
Yes.
I think there's is it Achimota or so?
Yes, that place is a transfer. You see, it's a transfer station so that the aboboyas that can help. You know, they augment the former waste collectors. I spoke about accessibility. If you are using a compassion track, it's not every community that you can enter. That is why we need these aboboya guys to come in it. So we register them into corporation. Then they augment the accredited waste collection committee, so they can go into all the communities that are not easily accessed by the compactor. So when they collect this waste, traveling with just 1 ton of waste, even some of the Aboboya is not even up to a ton.
Yeah.
Traveling all the way to Pong or traveling all the way to Insumia, you go to the transfer station, you leave it there, then when the truck is full, then or the following day, they will then move it to the final disposal site. But here is the case, the final disposal is not even managed well, you understand? So we have issues with our waste infrastructure.
Okay.
Yes.
So you mentioned that the place has been decommissioned. What does it mean if a site has been decommissioned? Does that mean we can no longer bring?
Yes, if a
there?
site is decommissioned, the proper decommissioning, you decommission the site, you cover it with earth materials, then you grow grasses or flowers, then the place become a recreational site.
Oh,
that is the proper decommissioning of an area.
What's it smell?
So grasses or plants absorb smell.
Yes,
they are smell odor sink.
Yeah.
So when you plant the green grasses and then the flowers, they'll absorb this area depending on how you manage it.
Okay.
You go to other areas, decommissioned landfill site has become a very good recreational areas that people go there to have contact with nature. Yes.
So even where we seem to have a lot of slums popping up, can these decommissioned landfill sites become a sort of place to rebuild a community?
We are not encouraging slums.
Okay.
We are gone past that. You understand? We've gone past that. The city is being zoned into what each area is supposed to be used for. But due to the rural urban migration, we see a lot of people moving down. If we decentralize amenities to almost every region, then it will come to a time that no one want to move from their rural setting to the urban setting. To talk of living in a slum area. A slum area is not a place that people should be living in. It is just because of hardship. That is what people are living there. Because when you go to some of the slum areas, they don't have sanitation facilities. And this leads to the acidification, indiscriminate dumping, and all sort of vices that we find in the community. You understand? Yeah.
So I'm asking because you said that sometimes these decommissioned landfill sites can be made into a recreational center.
Recreational site doesn't mean going to settle there as a slum.
Maybe like the land will be.
It is not advisable.
Okay, so it's not good for people to stay there
for long. It is not good for people to stay there.
Okay.
Yes.
But it can be a recreational site where you can come.
Where you can go to a green site. That can even lead to climate change mitigation.
Okay.
You understand? Because we are preaching greening. So when a place is decommissioned, we plant ornamental plants there that can help in some. Well, so you see, people even pay money to go into some bushes or somewhere just to go and have encounter with nature. Well, it is very. I don't know how to handle, but when you have encounter with nature, your whole body refreshes and you rejuvenate to come and start with your work.
So places will be much better converted into recreational centers. What about farms? Can they be converted
They can also be converted into city farming.
Okay.
Sure.
Okay.
Vegetable farming and other.
Okay. So still on this landfill site issue, with our plastic waste, especially in Ghana, how is the balance struck? Because most of our waste, like you said, there's not really categorized or separated. It's just everything together. If this decommissioned landfill site is full of organic and inorganic waste, how would the plastic waste be filtered out to be able to make it into this green environment?
So that is where we talk about waste segregation.
Okay.
Source segregation. If we practice proper waste segregation, the plastic waste is not going to find their way into the landfill site. The plastic waste will be segregated aside.
Okay.
And value will be added to it. The paper waste will be segregated. Value will be glass will be segregated. Value will be added to it. If waste will be segregated, value will be added to it. Then what that will be left will be the organic material. And the organic material can be used into compost. And we use the compost into farming and gardening. So now we will be left with zero waste. So there will not even be need for a landfill site.
Okay.
This is what we call circular economy.
Okay.
Sure.
So what measures is our government or system, what are our systems doing in this? Because on paper it sounds very feasible, but what measures are being taken to, use this approach? So
it still boils back to the infrastructural lack of infrastructure.
Okay.
So for instance, in Ghana, we practice the polluter pays system. If I generate my waste, I have to pay for it. But people see waste as the sole business of the government because it's a public good. People are not ready to pay for their waste. If people are paying for their waste the way they are supposed to, we will use the money to purchase infrastructure like treatment plants, compact tracks, and all those things, and even lead to employment. You understand? But it is not going in that manner. Now, I think our minister designated, the local government minister now, the present local government, he is going to increase sanitation quota to the MMDS from, it was 5% to 7% now, which I think is a plus. But it is not just that one alone. We must also look at the technical people that are working on the waste management. If you add this money onto the quota, and the technical officers working on waste management at the MMDAs are still a unit, it will not reflect. Why? Because if you are a unit in the MMDA, you don't have a budget of yourself. You fall on the administrative. Okay. Yes, and the administrative budget, it goes on. What will I say? Priority. What the system, the thing is, my priority is what I will do. Though they will tell you, yes, we have released that money for this. But at the end of the day, all the money will not go there. But the unit is being made a department. It is going to help because if you are made a department, you have your budget for the year, and this is the amount you need. So all the 7% is going to go into that budget, and maybe even some IGF to be added. That will help to manage the waste. You go to the district assemblies, some assemblies do not even have waste collection trucks to even help them collect the waste that you see out there. Why am I saying that? The country, we are doing 80-20. The 80% of the waste is being managed by the private entities. And then the 20% is supposed to be managed by the district assembly. But how can a district assembly manage waste without logistics?
Okay, that's a really big problem. So in our sanitation, as you mentioned, you also mentioned behavioral, some of the behaviors of our citizens. So can you shed some light on that? Because I think it's common knowledge that people who live along the seashores tend to use the sea as their washrooms. Is that the only behavioral problem, or there are others?
That is not the only behavioral problem. We talk about, when you are talking about behavior, culture comes in there. There are even some communities that men and women, that it is even a taboo for a man and a woman excreta to mix together. So a man, so in that manner, so trying to talk to people to change, to see waste or to see sanitation as their own, so that they can handle. We have something we call the community total sanitation. So with the community total less sanitation, called CLTS, that one, you empower the community with sanitation facilities so that they can handle sanitation within their community to enhance cleanliness and hygiene in the area. Formerly, the areas that we used to have things we call buyback centers. Buyback centers are centers that have been created by district assemblies so that people who are into collection of waste products that can be recycled send it there to sell it, get something, and go. And if you have a buyback center, it helps in the waste management within the district assembly. Look, now when you go to the Accra City Center, you will not see card boxes because there is value on card boxes. People collect card boxes. There are buyback centers within this assembly. So they collect these card boxes and go to sell them and get their money. People fight over it. But the issue is the plastic waste is becoming a menace because a lot of money must go into it for it to come out to be reused. The government need to support people who are into plastic recycling. That will help. So if you are able to get this support, you have a buyback center, they come there, they take it back, go and produce and bring it into the system. But if the support is not there, people go in, then they run at a loss and they stop. Even where they are using as the recycling center becomes another menace for you to manage again.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Well, it is getting very, very informative here, and I hope you are learning a lot because I am. And if you are learning anything, you have any questions to ask, please do send your questions to our WhatsApp number displayed on your screens. And when the phone lines are opened, I will alert you so you can call. You can also send them onto our live stream on Facebook and on YouTube and ask all your questions. So let me take a few comments, then we go for a quick commercial break. When we come back, we will delve more into the sanitation issues. So this one says, HM Joe says, hey, sanitation with fire emojis. I think he's very interested. And HM Joe again says, it's about the sanitation of Accra. Thank you very much for your comments. And we're taking a quick commercial break, right? Of the Bus Stop Boys joining us here. We will be right back.
CLOG TV. Beyond the policy.
And you're welcome back to the Cocoa Digest Morning Show. If you're just tuning in, this is the Cocoa Digest Morning Show. We are having our main discussion on sanitation enhancement, yes, waste management in Ghana. And we have here with us one of the officials from the public health in the Accra Metropolitan Assembly. She's in the person of Madame Florence Kuchi. So we have the Bus Stop Boys joining us, and we'll be interacting with them shortly. Please send your questions, your comments to our WhatsApp number displayed on your screens or onto our live stream on Facebook and on YouTube. And when the phone lines are opened, I will do well to alert you. So, Bus Stop Boys, Akwaba.
Yeah.
So, first of all, I think I would like to ask your name. Yes, you are representing your group here. So he's not the only one here. We have some of them out here. So your names, and then we go into the conversation.
Okay, so my name is Heneba Kojosafo.
Okay, Heneba Kojosafo. Okay. So what inspired Bus Stop Boys?
Okay, thank you. I think Bus Stop Boys was inspired by a statement that says service to mankind is service to God.
Okay.
So if service to mankind is service to God, then mankind is drowning in filth. So we should be able to serve mankind selflessly. For me, I see volunteerism as the foundation of the planet, because I am pretty sure when God was creating this planet, he thought of doing something out of self-will. And here we are today. So I believe everybody must, as part of being human, do something for free.
Wow, that's amazing. Thank you so much for your services to all of us here in Ghana. So how was the experience? Okay, how long have you been in existence, or when did you start?
Okay, so July will be exactly 2 years.
Okay. Yeah. So how has the experience been so far?
Well, it's been tough. I used to assume that Ghana is quite dirty, but going under drains and getting close to the field, Ghana is beyond dirty.
Oh my goodness. I thought you were going to say something.
No. Honestly,
Ghana is beyond dirty.
I tell you honestly, because there are places where you get and the drains are covered. So you assume that everything is good. Take the slabs and see what is happening. The whole place, I can say about 68% of our drains, all of them are choked with sand and trash.
Wow.
Because yes, the Ghanaian is still looking elsewhere. Just forgetting that we can create same greener pasture here, but I start with the mindset.
Yeah.
That is why Bus Stop Boys are saying that the difference between the Ghanaian and the American is the mindset. The American will fight hard and bone to make sure that American, but the Ghanaians will litter and create mess here and looking for visas to travel elsewhere to enjoy greener pasture. This mindset is sickening, and we need to change, especially when Ghana is 68 years. If not for anything at all, by the time Ghana is 70, we should be boasting of a clean environment.
Yeah, wow. Okay. So how did you start? Did you just get up and start, or you mobilized some equipment and things like that? What was the process like?
Okay, so I think it all started with wanting to, for me, I'm a fan of nature and I love going to the sea especially. But unfortunately, you get to the beaches around Ghana and it's more like a trash display ceremony where you see a lot of trash bags in the sea. So I wanted to bring us to be able to solve that problem with the way trash ends up in the sea. So upon critical checking, I realized that the excess of trash in the sea is when there's the heavy downpour. Because of the irresponsible attitude of various communities, we wash, or the rainwater washes everything from the communities into the sea.
Yeah.
So wanting to bring an end or be able to solve the problem from the root. So we saw that there's a need for us to begin to sound a lot of awareness in the communities. So once the communities are clean, it doesn't matter how many hours it rains. We will not get flooding, and also the water that will enter the sea will be devoid of plastics.
Yeah, okay.
So that's how it started.
So can you share some of your most significant experiences with some of the communities you've been to help with the sanitation issues? Okay,
so I'll talk about, but there are many, but let me talk about two. One at Fadama. When we go to Fadama, if you get to Fadama, there's a road that leads to Chief Imam's residence. And according to the residents there, when we started doing what we do to be able to assess and see why the place continues to flood, because according to them, over 10 years, which is the place floods every time it rains. And upon all the checks we did, realized that there's a tie, a used tie that is inside the drain, blocking everything. So no matter how much or no matter how pressure the running water comes with, because of the tie, you have to block everything, and the flood. But we're finally able to remove the tie, and as you speak now, we cannot guarantee there are no longer plastics in the gutter, but at least we can guarantee
the tire is not there.
The flooding is no more. And of course, they are very exciting when we did that. And the next ones also will be a place at Achimota. If you get to Achimota, the footbridge that goes to Nim Station, they have a big compound there. There's a beautiful drain in there. There happens to be some grasses here and there, and there's a carpet grass in there. Unfortunately, for the residents at Achimota, another madam is here. I'll be happy if we can begin to. It looks like we are too relaxed, and the Ghanaian is always misbehaving, thinking that I need to create mess for the next guy who has been employed in sanitation to get job. But it doesn't work like that. Whole community around the place. That is where, excuse my French, if you are eating, when they poo, they tie it in trash bags and they throw it in the gutter. And so the first time we went, we couldn't do it. We had to rent a backhoe to be able to clean the whole place. And as it stands now, it's better. But quite recently, we went back, and the attitude is coming back. So we need to be able to at least use one or two people to set an example for the Ghanaian to see that they are lost. Because I am privy to the Public Health Act, Section 815, Section 50 says authority categorically that prohibits any act that causes insanitary conditions such as littering public places or dumping refuse. And the law goes ahead to say that once you do that, the violation is you can be fined, you can be imprisoned, or both, depending on the severity of the offense. So I think we are too relaxed with the law, and that is why people think, I can misbehave and get away with it.
Okay. So how are you able to also gather funding? Do you receive any collaborative efforts from the government or other non-governmental organizations?
Okay, governments, with the support we've had from previous governments, was individuals in government. Somebody like Honorable Asensu Buachi, road minister, who gave us 10,000. And the then Greater Accra Regional Minister, Honorable Henry Korte, also gave us 10,000. So support from individuals, but government machinery proper hasn't given us anything. And aside from that too, the support comes from individual. Our first tricycle, when we started, we had to wait sometimes an hour after cleaning, just so we get a boboya in person and then hand over the trash and pay for it. But our first tricycle that was bought by A1 Diesel, Mr. Aldis, he's from Latvia. He's not even a Ghanaian, but he saw what we do on social media and could relate it to his country. When one man rose up to the occasion and said, no, it's no longer right for us to eat and throw it out of our windows. According to him, even at the time, there was no social media, but the message was able to travel far, and as it stands now, Latvia is clean. So he believes that with support to campaign that we are doing as youth, if we get support, we can do more. He bought us our first Aboboya 23,000 in 2023. Yes, and they also bought that pressure washer just last year. So, and that's how we have been growing. People keep supporting on individual level.
That's amazing. So, can you tell us some of the experiences with people, the communities, when you get there? What are their attitudes towards you?
A lot of them still, other people still find it difficult to even understand that what we do, we are doing everything we do for free. So, especially during December when elections was closed, people vent their angers on us. So they assume that we are government sent, and because of elections we are now doing it to kind of convince the voter. That little did they know that we have been doing this over a year before. And aside from that, those who get to understand that is volunteerism, some of them cook and they bring it to us, they buy us water, some of them to come and join. And I believe I always say that the Ghanaian, the true Ghanaian, not the one has been corrupted with a lot of fake stories, but the true Ghanaian in the 90s were volunteering to build communities, build public toilet and all of that. That is why I always get sad to sit back on TV, because I was born in the 90s. I sit back on TV today and the community or the chiefs in the 90s who were calling communities to come together, let's build toilets. The same chiefs, I don't know what have changed, but they now sit and call on politicians to come and build them toilet. And once somebody must do or has to do everything for you, then quote unquote, you can be
Thank you very much. Okay, so he mentioned the Act, the Public Health Act, and punitive measures. So is this something that's actually working or not?
Enforcement is really working. I was sad when he said it's like we are relaxed, and I was happy when he said during the election time when they were working, people said, where were you? But they have been working. But when they saw them, they thought they have just started. Enforcement is an issue that if you are not gripped, you wouldn't know that the law is there. It is not just only the Public Health Act that the environmental officers use to enforce the sanitation issues or challenges. We have the MMDA sanitation bylaws. We have the Public Health, the Criminal Offences Act. We have other statutory laws that we use to enforce depending on where the offense fall under.
Okay.
When we started, I told you we don't just work on only sanitation. Environmental officer is a multifaceted worker.
Okay.
But they are the unsung heroes in the country. We are law enforcers, but we are not clothed. Uniform beget compliance. Sometimes you see our police officers going around the city. Not that they are going to arrest somebody, but their presence alone, when you see the uniform going around, it scares you.
You're not likely to.
You are born to do the right thing. Gone were the days when everybody say, let's bring back the Sama-Sama, let's bring back the Sama-Sama. I sitting here, I am a Sama-Sama. I have been a Sama-Sama for the past 22 years now. I don't have a uniform. I'm sitting here. If you meet me somewhere carrying out my duty, you may not even know that I am a mandated law enforcer enforcing my law. It's high time they bring back the uniforms to the environmental health officers so that they will be visible in the communities. This year alone, my Metropolitan Assembly has prosecuted not less than 577 sanitation offenders.
Oh, wow.
So if you say we have relaxed, this is just one assembly. Go to all the we have about 200 plus MMDAs within the country. And even if one MMDA prosecutes one person every day, every year, at the end of the day, we have 200 plus sanitation offenders prosecuted. Another thing too is the sanitation courts. They are limited. So due to their limited nature, you can, maybe you will be in Accra Metropolitan Assembly, but you are carrying your case from Accra to La or to Achimota. And because they are limited, you go there, it is not only sanitation cases. They will run what we call the sanitation motor case. So you are there with the police and all that. So sometimes it's human being. I talk about dignity. How do we enhance it? It's human being. I talk about dignity. How do we enhance it? We spoke about the importance, we spoke about the challenges. So enhancing it, that is where collaboration comes. Collaboration and policy is one of the enhancements. That is where you see the bus stop boys coming in to collaborate. How are they collaborating? Are they collaborating in absentia or they are collaborating with MMDAs? So when we are working in the collaboration, it's not there's a gap between the collaboration. Sometimes it doesn't go as it's supposed to go. Why am I saying that? Maybe when you are going to this assembly, you alert the transport bus stop boys. Bus stop boys will be at this particular area. Maybe a week before, they will prepare logistics for you so that at the end of the day, the assembly will do what? Will convey the waste that has been brought out. But if there's a communication gap, that is where you bring out the waste and then you stand and you are waiting for an aboboya to come and pass for you to give the waste to, and then you pay. But if there is right collaboration, you are collaborating with the district assembly, because wherever you go, it falls under a district assembly, and you have your roster. itinerary. You know where you go from here. Today I will be here. Tomorrow I will be here. So you can share your itinerary with the district assembly so that they can add you on their plans.
Okay.
You understand? There are a lot of work we do. So I mentioned about the infrastructure development. Then we talk about community engagement and education. What we are doing here right now is the community engagement, because a lot of people are listening to what we are doing, and it is leading to what? Behavior change.
Yeah. Okay, thank you so much. We have a comment here. It says, kudos to you guys, bus stop boys. So the phone lines are open, so if you want to ask any questions, you can call and ask your question, and then we have our guests here. They will do well to answer your questions as well. So I don't think I was born in that time, but there used to be something called tankers.
So I mentioned I am the tanker sitting here.
Okay, that's the summer.
That's the summer.
Okay.
So the tankers is not a tankers. You know, district assembly, how we call town council, town councillors. So the environmental officers are the town councillors. They go around to counsel the people within the community, to counsel them about good hygiene, to counsel them about health promotion, to counsel them about how to live in a healthy community. And formerly we used to live in open communities. So when they are coming, they are in uniform. So when you even see someone, you see them coming in their uniform, you shout, "Tankers for any ball." So because our mothers or fathers could not call the town council, they will say tankers. So tankers in the So when an environmental officer comes to your house, when we go to the house, we do a inspection, typical inspection with whichever premises that we enter. We get a lead person, we take your details, we also give you our details, then we go around, we conduct the inspections. Then when we come back, we come and counsel you on our findings. Then if it is something that has to be detrimental to health, we give you what we call abatement notice. The environmental officer is the only person who meets our clients in their comfort zone to tell them what to do so that they will not be sick. We are preventive officers. And if a country spends much on preventive officers, the country is bound to strive in economic development because resources that would have been channeled to the curative aspect, that is the hospitals, diseases like malaria, typhoid, cholera, would have been sorted out by the environmental officer through the counseling. Then the only disease that will go to the hospital will be the non-communicable disease like diabetes, hypertension, and other things.
Okay, so we have a caller on the line. Hello, you're welcome to Cocoa Digest Morning Show. Your name and where you're calling from, please.
Hi, I'm Yvette. Good morning. This is an insightful program, and I want to add my voice.
Okay, go ahead.
Yes. So I believe in what the public health officer was saying, that collaboration is very, very important. But this is the situation. She was also talking about lack of logistics. So if already the council lacks logistics, and we expect that they are on the ground working, how much logistics can they release to the bus stop boys to also go about their duties very well? So as we are resetting the country, we should consider getting adequate logistics for them, because a lot of diseases could have been prevented in this country if our cities are that clean. And we should, as a country and as individuals, focus on our cleanliness. It's not just about polishing ourselves and moving out and dropping litter on. It doesn't make you a lady, it doesn't make you a gentleman, it doesn't make you a Christian, it doesn't make you a good Muslim. So as a country, right from our basic schools, I think the education should go down very well, especially to their children. I was once in the church when somebody threw something out of the window, and the child said, "Hey, mommy, you have thrown something out." It means that child has been taught in school that you don't throw things on the street. And I believe the man was very embarrassed because at that moment you could see that he was stiff in the car. He couldn't even turn for people to see his face. So I think we should be hard on their education. The education should go deep down. People who sell should be keep the environment clean. Can you imagine going to buy a nice, tasty watch by a gutter, which is very offensive and all that? And we don't care. The next moment we understand that paying huge sums of money. So as a country, we should be passionate. Bus stop boys, God bless you. God bless you so much. And our mother there, you are so passionate about your job. We wish that we wouldn't be staying in the offices, but we'll move to the streets like the ex-president Rollins did. We want to see such actions. God bless you and thank you for the show.
So much. Thank you for your comments too. We are most grateful. So we have a few comments here. This one is from Vincent in Kaswa. He says, I actually like the work of the bus stop boys. Yeah, you can take the initiative and join them too.
Yes.
Then we also have a comment here, a question actually. He says, how does the AMA collaborate with other stakeholders such as community leaders, private sector entities, civil society organizations to address sanitation issues in Accra? I'm enjoying the conversation. Kudos, Cocoa Digest. This is from Eric Akweti.
Okay, so you see, I said one of the enhancement pillar is collaboration and policy. Okay. So sanitation is a public good, and it needs a collaborative effort to be able to achieve sanitation. So the district assemblies, what we do is our doors are always opened. We know there are individual bodies, just like the bus stop boys are doing. Other individual bodies have also registered, NGOs and others. So what we do is when you want to carry out a cleanup exercise, it's just the matter of informing the district assembly where you want to carry out the cleanup with a rating, and then you list out the things you will need, the tools, the help that you need the assembly to give you. So when you list out, so when the day is due, the assembly will meet you with the logistics that you need. Then the work will be done, so that at the end of the day, whatever that is brought out during that cleanup will be collected. Okay. But if you involve the assembly, you will go and carry out the cleanup, and then you bring out the waste and then put it on the bank of the drain. Then before you could say, Jack, it goes back. It even goes back in the drain, and then you've done a cost 90 work. So collaboration is really, really when you want to have good. It is not about, yes, I am doing it, I'm taking the fame. No, it's about let's do it so that the good product that will come out of it will benefit everybody.
Okay. So Master Boys, I think you have been on the grounds, right? What would you say is the main issue with our sanitation or waste management here in Ghana?
I think largely it's about education. Okay. Which I also want to ask NCC if they are watching. Because I remember an advert when I was a kid about drug. That was like, I still remember the advert today. Well, it was done by NCC. Okay. So if today they can do, say, due respect, if you are watching, we need you back on our screens, because clearly you guys are too relaxed. And also, I also want to, they are relaxed. We should be able to tell people what it is. Well, I remember we've worked with them before and talk about collaborations. There was a time, I won't mention the assembly because I don't want them to feel like we are. But then we went to them to explain everything that we need, and they gave us all the green light. On the day, we started at 7:30. We worked from 7:30 to 3:30 to 4. The help never came. Oh. We kept calling, and finally what they said was there was no fuel in the vehicle. So, these are the things that makes us feel like, why bother, why stress go up and down when eventually help will not come? Let me then do what I can. If there's somebody watching who believes in the cause, let the person support. Nevertheless, we'll be very happy that everywhere we go, the assembly will come on board. But they'll give you the promises and they will not come. And Madam also spoke about uniform. I also want to find out. We still go around Accra, and I see some people in uniform arresting vehicles. I don't know their line of duty, but I believe that for the same reason that the taxi driver sees them and they are, trying to behave and get all their documents right, why not use the same energy to also, because I see them at Accra, they are arresting vehicles, but sometimes they are close to ball a heap of it and they don't care. But I believe it's also part of the assembly's jurisdiction. If the taxi drivers are not supposed to misbehave because they are operating within your jurisdiction. Why then are you allowing the same officer who is arresting vehicle? It's okay with a heap of trash packed somewhere. So I would say that as much as I don't know much, I would just want to find out why those uniformed men instead in arresting vehicles whilst they leave the whole of Accra messy. Because I'm sure AMA is particularly in charge of yes, they are particularly in charge of that Accra, Makola, to do for example. Let's go now and see.
Okay, but before we go back to that, we have a caller on the line. Hello, good morning and welcome to Cocoa Digest Morning Show. And where you're calling from, please? Hello?
Hello?
Yes, good morning. You're welcome to Cocoa Digest Morning Show. Your name and where you're calling from, please?
Good morning, I'm Bozumpra.
Okay. Right. Thank you so much for calling.
I want to contribute to your program.
Okay, please go ahead.
Yeah, that's said by the Bastard Boys.
Mm-hmm.
We are saying, yes, Ghana is beyond there. And as said by our previous government, Accra can be the cleanest city in West Africa. But to me, I think we have to go beyond that by bringing the sector departments and units, the public health and then the sanitation departments under one umbrella, like the sanitation authority, and not under the district assemblies, because they don't help the sanitation sector at all.
Thank you very much. It seems we lost him mid-contribution. We have one more comment here. This one says, we are entering into the rainy season. What is AMA doing about this? Kudos to your guest, Yara. God bless the Cocoa Digest team. This is from Joyce. Thank you very much for your comment. So, AMA, please, somebody is worried that we are entering the rainy season.
Yes, it's true. We are entering into the rain. So what we do is, every assembly have some hotspots that during the rainy effect on. So we are done with mapping of our hotspots. Education is always ongoing. If we need to do the silting is being done. It still comes back. You see, when my brother was talking, he mentioned about somewhere around Achimota. They did some work there, but now it is coming back. The human behavior is another thing. It is high time our representatives empower the technical officers.
Okay, please let's put your opinion in that. We have another caller on the line. Hello?
Hello?
Yes.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning. Your name and where you're calling from, please?
Yeah, I'm calling from that's California. But the point is, other than we didn't be Cocoa Digest, that's Cocoa. I would like to speak to you, please.
You feel free to speak to you. Thank you.
Okay. So, can I go ahead?
Yes, please.
Yeah. Your friend. The American say, the 90 now more bus stop now, yeah, count 17. Hello?
Hello, we can hear you. Please,
hello?
To us away.
Can you hear me, please?
Yes, please.
Yeah, a man can count once this bus stop. For me, what I see is I will say about 18 years because even though Krabu said driving across, let's say the do circle and whatever. Send you almost see a woman cross as if say umba the fat the nako. Just say one. And it can cause us at the time. And moreover, for me, I see them as a junkie guys. Because you know, we see young any Nadia didn't seriously me and not come across. And now, moreover, Muswans are conforming a free bar. Or man as a car pakia, or move glass to the side, and you go 4 phones. The idea, I was saying, car mobile born Naka, before, after Sula committee, because Uncle Fonana, or the violence about criminal. Thank you. Bye.
Buster boys, please. I think this one you may have to clarify.
My own before.
Okay, so
he asked me the
Madam Kuchi would answer the one, then you clarify what exactly Buster boys is about, so that the public will not be confused.
So as I was saying, the policymakers, our representative, I mean our politicians, they empower the technical officers. They give priority to sanitation issues, so that when an officer is sending a sanitation offender to court, there shouldn't be calls asking the officer to leave the person or this and that. You see, it makes the work so difficult. For instance, when I was coming, I did checks around. If I want to take out an action, I will give you a notice right now. But unfortunately, man, I left the notice in the car before I came out. There are some things I will give you a notice to. So when you give somebody a notice, before an officer will take someone to court, it means you've given the person enough time and the person has refused to comply before you send the person to court. You give the person an abatement notice, the person will not abate the notice. You go back to remand, the person will not do it. Immediately you send the person a summons and you receive the call, go back to summons. Immediately you do that, you cannot go back to the place to go and work because you become inferior. So we pray that our representatives should allow the bureaucrats to do our work on the ground, because we can handle the people. But if you bring in yourself, the people will use voting to what will I say, to enter, say we won't vote for you, but nobody is voting for us. So we can do the work. Just as he asked, why some people wear uniform and they are arresting drivers. When you go to every assembly, if there are a lot of department and unit in the assembly, and everybody have your mandated work that you'll be employed to do. As an environmental officer, I went to School of Hygiene. I am mandated to ensure that and the aquatic environments are clean for people to live in. So if I am given, you see, when they wear uniform, people see them, they run away. But the environmental officer, the environmental officer and the police officer are the two agencies that can arrest somebody without a warrant. But how can I go to arrest somebody without a uniform? So because of that, sometimes when we even want to carry out arrest, bench warrant arrest, we fall on our brothers and sisters, the police service, to help us to carry out this arrest. Yes.
Wow. Yes, Buster boys, I'm sure you would want to address the man's concern, Ajbro.
Yeah, good. I'm sure the man is not aware of what we do. Buster boys, probably hearing Buster boys, he thought you are the guys who load.
Maybe, shadow cast.
We are not. Buster boys is volunteer group. We do cleanup exercises, raising awareness to tell you that malaria will harm you, malaria will kill you, cholera will kill you. So clean your own environment whilst you also help to do that. So we don't bring confusion up any budget. Check out the link for as well.
Wow. So much. All too soon, our time is up, but I'm very sure you'll be open to having a part 2 of this session, because there is definitely a lot to talk about. Yes. Okay. So I'd like to take your closing remarks for this session, and then next time we will have a longer session.
Okay. So what I want to inform our public out there, cholera is with us, and cholera is a preventable disease. Cholera is a disease that when you don't manage your environment well, you get cholera. So we are entreating people to ensure that they clean their environment. They should stop open defecation. They should try to wash their hands thoroughly with water and soap under running water. They should eat hot food. They should minimize the eating of vegetables outside. And when they are eating food that cannot be cooked or is not supposed to be cooked, that is fruit and vegetables, they should wash it properly before eating, so that we will all be healthy. We need a healthy city that will have a healthy population in a healthy ecosystem.
All right. Thank you very much. Yes.
So my last remarks will still go to Madam. I wish this is longer so I can ask more.
We'll have part 2.
So yes, we'll come. We've not been to AMA as in wanting partnership, but when we began those times we didn't have anything at all. As at now, nobody has reached out from AMA to say that we've seen your letter and we cannot give you any of the help of you. So it's not like we are doing it in isolation. We tried. Even before getting our we wrote to him. I'm sure if you go in your archives, you see Pastor Boy's letter there. But that notwithstanding, we look out, now that you are here, how best can we, especially on the education level, how best can we change the situation at Accra? And then finally to the Ghanaian who is watching, forget about AMA, forget about Pastor Boys. When malaria catch you, you will buy drug. It is your money that will buy drug. So without AMA, Pastor Boys, remember, your sanitation is the only guarantee to a sustainable life.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you too for staying with us. Thank you for your comments and support. We hope you have an amazing day ahead.
CLOG TV, beyond the policy.